Today's paper is going to be a paper that was published in 2011 in the journal Science. And they did a study about bonobos in Kenya, and they looked at alpha males, beta males. They looked at these behavioral, very complex structure in these societies over a span of 9 years. And they ranked all of these bonobos according to who's alpha, who's beta, and so on. And there's many, many rankings. And what's really cool about this study is that they did more than 4,500 samples of fecal testosterone and fecal glucocorticoid, which is, in this paper, you'll see, I might even show you the actual figure so you can learn from it. You'll see FT, that's fecal testosterone, and FGC, fecal glucocorticoid. Glucocorticoid is a hormone that is released when someone is under stress. Okay, and testosterone is obviously, if you follow my channel, testosterone is for muscle mass, for libido, for drive, for energy, and bedroom performance. The list goes on. Hair health, like everything is related to testosterone. Bone density, just like everything. And so what they wanted to do was figure out, because previously there was these theories that, okay, if a society of bonobos, in this case it's bonobos in Kenya, or even other non-human primates like macaques, chimpanzees, gorillas, you name it, when they looked at that, there was always a difference in stress levels when this society was stable and unstable. Now this applies a lot today, right? Because in today's society, we have females. They sleep with all the women. They have all the money. They have all the power, and they make all the decisions. So today's society, because of COVID, Corona, blah blah, is not very stable, right? Economics are unstabilized. Volatility in the stock market. People don't know where to go. People are scared to talk to each other. People are scared to travel. It's a very, very scary society, the world we live in today. Now, some people who are the alpha males, they make a lot of the decisions. Should you travel or not? Should the borders be closed or not? So this paper has a lot to do with especially what's happening today in the world. So really, really important to learn from this paper. So what did they do? They looked at 40 different rankings of these groups of bonobos, right? Because remember, these are in the wild. So they have these scientists that are following these bonobos for a span of 9 years, and they're looking at different things. When do challenges happen? When do hierarchies destabilize? The alpha becomes beta, the beta becomes alpha. When is there this thing called consortships where the alphas are hanging out, making sure the women who are fertile don't get fucked by other bonobos. They're like guarding these women. There's grooming going on. So they're trying to see how testosterone and stress hormone relate to these characteristics behaviorally. Okay, so let's see what they figured out. One thing that they figured out, that they confirmed, is that there's a monopoly of sexual encounters in which. So here's the specific detail. They found out that 3 of the bonobos, out of all the males in this tribe of bonobos, fucked 70% of the women, right? And so that's one thing that they found out, and that was something that has also been figured out before, so it was not a surprise. One other thing that they found out, which was actually contradictory to previous studies, what they had found is, when you look at this hierarchy, and you look at, let's say you look at stress hormone, right? They found out that stress hormone varies from beta to alpha depending on whether the actual tribe is stable or not. So when things destabilize, the way the stress hormone interacts with the behavior of the monkeys change. But in this study, they found that whether it's stable society or unstable society, we get the same results. Now, what are these results? One thing they found, and I'm going to show you these figures as well, is that as you move across rank, so you go more and more alpha males, testosterone increases linearly, right? They measured it's fecal testosterone, FT, and the glucocorticoid is FGC. So they're measuring these stress hormones by taking fecal samples, the shit of these bonobos, and measuring them that way. And they did more than 4,500 samples. It's a fantastic study. That's why it's published in Science. So that's not a surprise, right? As you get higher and higher in ranking, your testosterone is linearly increasing. Now, the surprising finding from this paper, that is why they published in Science in such a good paper, is that when you look at glucocorticoid stress levels, as you move higher and higher in ranking, so more and more alpha, the stress hormone levels actually decreases linearly. Okay, so this is actually, we've known this in the past, right? So you can imagine, as in society, the people at the very low end of the society, the people who don't have the power, the people who are very poor, the third world countries, people who don't have food or water, they are the most stressed. And the people who have the power, who can make the decisions, who have the women and the money and whatnot, are the least stressed. But in this study, what they found out is, so imagine this this axis is rank. So as you move across, it's higher and higher rank. And this axis is stress level, right? So as you move higher and higher in ranking, the stress goes down. But at the very end, the top alpha males, the stress goes up again. So this study found that the people at the top, the CEOs of these bonobos you can imagine, or the ones with the power, the Dan Bilzerians, the Jeff Bezos, the Hugh Hefners out there, or in the past, the Genghis Khan, the Alexander the Greats, those guys have similar stress levels in glucocorticoid to the beta males at the bottom of society, and even the omega males that are even lower than the beta males. Okay? Now, this is the cool finding. This is a surprising finding. Now, what they speculated, like, is it the same type of stress, right? Because just because you have glucocorticoid levels high, that doesn't mean that the type of stress is the same. So they tried to go deeper into this. They tried to see what was changing. Why was it happening this way? What were the behavioral changes between the alphas and the betas that could have contributed to this high level of stress? So they found two things that varied and the other two things that didn't vary. So what didn't vary? When they looked at grooming, it is basically, when you see these monkeys, they're like picking each other's hair and picking the lice, and they're like combing the hair. It's like grooming, like what we humans do, right? They're like, cleaning the monkey up, and women usually do that in bonobo society as well. So they found that grooming was equivalent. Doesn't matter if you're alpha, beta, gamma, doesn't matter, gamma, omega, doesn't matter. However, okay, so grooming was the same. Another thing that was the same is challenges. So challenges are basically when two bonobos challenge each other for ranking. That also didn't change in this study. The two things that changed between the people at the top and the people at the bottom were consortships. Consortships are basically when an alpha male guards a bunch of fertile women so other bonobos can't have sex with her, or it can't have sex with all these women, right? It's like their harem, and they're guarding the harem. So that's one. And another one is agonistic behavior, where the bonobo challenges the other bonobo males to fights, right? Agonistic behavior, aggressive behavior. These two were the differences between the alphas and the ones lower than that. So the hypothesis is this: even though the top alpha males have the highest level, or not the highest, but they have equivalent level of stress as the ones at the low end of the society, the reason they're stressed is different. Alpha males are stressed because someone's going to take their women. So, they eat less because they're guarding the women. They're trying to keep the women safe. So they have less time to eat, less time to forage and actually get the food, hunt for food. And the other one is for the agonistic behavior, the fighting. So they because of that, they are stressed. The people at the very bottom are stressed because they're literally like, they literally don't have food. They're literally scared that someone's going to beat them up, right? So it's a different type of stress with the ones that are at the very top of the society versus the ones that are at the very bottom. And obviously this relates to CEOs. One of the other papers that I'm going to reference in the description below, it's called Sympathy for the CEO. It's a kind of like sarcastic, like, oh my God, look at this poor CEO of this billionaire company, this billionaire that, he has to really, be scared, when he's in his yacht and oh my God, is someone going to take, one of my 1,000 women, like that kind of, it was a kind of like funny paper. Go read these papers, they're dope papers. And I'll show you the figures so you get an idea. Basically what you'll see in the figures is that you'll see this linear thing, and then you'll see this peak, this spike when it's like it gets to the very, very high rankings of the alpha male. You'll see that in the FGC, the glucocorticoid levels, but in testosterone, you'll just see this linear thing. As you become more and more alpha, your testosterone goes up linearly. If there's anything else, I'll write it in the description below if I forgot something, or you can put it in the comments and I'll answer it in the comments. There was one other thing that they found. It was about linear, it was about the stability they found that challenges. So they found from this paper that alpha males are not so scared, or the stress level is not from changing of ranking. So when an alpha becomes a beta, or vice versa, like alpha changes its rank, the change is not necessarily the reason he's stressed. He's stressed because of the anticipation of what if the change happens. So the fear of losing your ranking or your billionaire status in our society, like in our human society, that fear of losing your power and your decision making and your girls and like that fear of losing the alpha-ness is the cause of fear, not necessarily when you actually lose the alpha male status. So anyway, that's this cool, shocking truth about alpha males. Comment below and let me know, who is your ideal alpha male in today's society? If you think of the world today, who is the one person who is the alpha male? I want to know that answer, and any other questions you have, comment below and I'll try to get them in future videos. Stay safe, guys. Stay humble and keep discovering your inner selves. Get in touch with your family, love your friends, call them, talk to them, learn new things, do artwork, do things that you've always wanted to do that you were afraid to do or didn't have time to do. This is the time. Instead of wasting time watching the news or being scared, do cool shit and get ready for when we are again able to travel, able to quarantine and be, sort of free again in our physical movement. All right, guys, take it easy. This is Dr. Farhan. I'll see you next time. Keep rocking it.